Hey everyone, my name is Nolan and welcome back to another Pixel Gun 3D Top 10 video, and today we are counting down the top 10 melee weapons in Pixel Gun 3D, and I believe this is the final category for the top 10s of this year. I'm pretty sure. So this will be pretty cool. From here on out we're gonna do some unique top 10s. I think the next one will probably be top 10 weapons that need to be buffed or nerfed. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool, and then eventually we'll get back to doing the top 10s again once the game has changed drastically. And speaking of drastic changes, there are a lot of melee weapons on this list that are actually very good for getting kills, and there are melee weapons that are useful for certain things. So for this reason, I am excluding all dash weapons because dash weapons have not changed one bit. So if you guys want to know what are the best dash weapons in this game, well, you can go watch my ranking every dash weapon video. I'll put a card on screen right now, and of course I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go watch that. I just feel like it would clunk up the list a little bit too much, and it would get kind of boring. So I figured let's just ignore dash weapons for the sake of this video. And yeah, I guess also I'll say this is just my own opinion, of course, so don't rage at me. This is just my opinion, of course. And also, if I missed a weapon, maybe it's because I don't have it or something like that. So if you guys disagree with me, let me know what your guys' top 10 melee weapons are down in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into the honorable mentions. Alright, the first honorable mention is going to be Ferris Pullax, and the thing about Ferris Pullax is its fire rate is a bit slower than most Super Punch melees, and also it's kind of just a bit weird. So initially, when just shooting the weapon, it doesn't have area damage. However, if you activate the Super Punch, it does have area damage, and the Super Punch does a lot of damage. However, sometimes what I've noticed is it 2-shot or 2 to 3 shot body shots, which is just really not that good, and it can be hard to hit the Super Punch because there's a little bit of a shot delay. That's what you guys will notice when I tap the fire button. It usually takes a second or two for the weapon itself to actually shoot, which can be quite annoying. So for that reason, I just placed it a little bit lower on this list. The next honorable mention is going to be Paws, and I gotta be honest, guys, I'm only really mentioning this because I know someone will get mad at me if I don't mention it. I really don't feel like this melee weapon, I guess, is not really all that good anymore. And if you just look at the damage, I'm pretty sure it only hits for 114 max, which, I mean, I guess that's good. That's a 2-shot, but it's kind of hard to hit max damage, and I don't know. I just feel like there's probably better, there are better melees for spamming, and so for that reason, it's just in honorable mentions. Alright, moving on to the actual list now, I'm gonna go with, I think it's, Reflected Santa Sword, that's the name of it. Jeez, I forgot for a second. I pulled an all-nighter, okay, give me a break. Basically, this is a very good Super Punch weapon, as you guys can tell, because it has a very, very wide area of attack. It's usually about a 2-shot without the Super Punch, and then the Super Punch usually 1-shots, however, sometimes someone might be able to tank it, especially with matching modules, so that's kind of unfortunate. But what's really cool about the Super Punch is it actually shoots a missile. It's not just a area damage, high damage area of attack. No, it shoots an actual missile, which is pretty cool. It allows you to hit range attacks. Also, after shooting the Super Punch, the weapon will instantly shoot again. As you guys can see right there, there was a double attack. So if you're very close to someone and you miss the missile, the attack will most likely hit them, especially because, like I said earlier, it has a very wide area of attack. So yeah, this melee weapon is definitely pretty good for spamming. And honestly, guys, if you wanted to put this higher on the list, you totally could. The thing about this top 10 list is all these weapons are very, very close in how good they are compared to each other, kind of thing. So just kind of keep that in mind. These weapons can totally be arranged however you guys want, and I wouldn't disagree with you, okay? This is just my own opinion. Alright, next up in the number 9 spot, I'm going with Leader's Butterfly, and this is probably the coolest melee in the game. Of course, it has that really sick animation where it does the butterfly knife kind of thing. Yeah, this weapon is, of course, very good for getting kills. It's usually a 2-shot, however, sometimes it might 3-shot, especially if someone has matching modules, which kind of sucks. However, what really carries this weapon is the acceleration after kill. So not only does it have 85 mobility, but since it's good for getting kills, you might actually get quite a lot of speed boosts, which is pretty cool. That's why I really like this weapon, because it's very good for movement and also getting kills, and it's a really cool weapon. So just in my personal opinion, I think this is one of the coolest weapons in the game, and so for that reason, it's actually that actually does help its stats in the top 10. But yeah, honestly, if it didn't have the acceleration after killing, I probably wouldn't even put it on this list because sometimes the damage can be unreliable. But let's move on to the next weapon. I'm talking too much. Alright, next up is going to be Swords of Intelligence, and this is one of 2 weapons on this list you guys can actually get with coupons, so if you want to get this weapon, you totally can go ahead. However, there is going to be a better melee weapon for spamming you guys can get with coupons later on in this list. So yeah, Swords of Intelligence are just a pretty good melee weapon for spamming, super punch, and depending on who you're going against, it will 2-shot, it might 1-shot, who knows. The thing about this weapon is the closer you are to someone when you do the super punch attack, the more damage it will do. So if you're like right next to someone touching them, it will most likely 1-shot. However, if you're a bit far away, you can't really rely on it to 1-shot, which is a bit annoying, and so for that reason, it's lower on this list. And to be honest, guys, I would totally understand if you wanted to put Reflected Santa Sword in this place. I know that people tend to like this weapon more than Reflected Santa Sword, so for that reason, I put this one higher. So yeah, okay, let's move on to the next weapon. Next up is going to be Thermal Mecha Knife, and this melee weapon is excellent for spamming. It has 85 mobility, so if you wanted to, you could use this as your movement melee, but this weapon is just really, really good for getting kills because it will always 2-shot body shot, and it will most of the time 1-shot headshot. If not right away, the burning will be able to finish off the person. I believe it does like 170 damage. Sorry, not 800. 170 damage, and then like plus 50 damage for burning with a headshot. So that is a 1-shot if you let the burning take effect. However, you might get your kill stolen. But what's really cool about this weapon is, as you can see, it has a huge area of effect. The way to use this weapon is you want to aim high, and the sword will attack down in a huge area of effect. So to get better gameplay, aim higher, and you will hit more shots. Don't ask me why, it's just the way to use this weapon. So yeah, okay, let's move on. Next up is going to be Jet Spear, and this is, in my opinion, my favorite movement melee in the game. As you can see, it has a grapple effect, and unlike most melees or just grapple weapons in general, you don't have to charge it. Actually, no, that's not true. Most weapons are not charged, but as you can see, yeah, you don't have to charge this. You can just switch to it, small fix delay, and then grapple around. What's cool about this melee weapon is it has like over 170 damage, so you actually have a really high chance of killing someone if you hit someone with this melee weapon, which is pretty cool. However, it does only have 65 mobility, so you can't really use it for movement other than grappling. However, grappling is definitely what it's good for. But yeah, this is, in my opinion, actually, it's my go-to melee, I'm not gonna lie. However, there are just more useful melees in general that we'll get to, so yeah, let's continue. Next up is going to be Runic Sentinel, and what's really cool about this melee weapon is it heals you for 12 HP per tick, and it heals 8 health and 4 armor, so that's it's very, very useful for like healing and stuff like that. So monster raids, clan raids, very useful. Maybe if you're dueling, it can be pretty useful for that. The drawback with this weapon is it only has 75 ability, so it's definitely not a go-to for movement. And also, as you can see, it has consecutive explosions, which it sounds good. However, what happens is when you swing the sword, it takes like another second for the attack to actually like attack. So it's kind of annoying to get kills with. So for that reason, it's a bit lower on this list. Even though, yes, it's very, very useful, it's really only good for healing. It's not really good for movement or getting kills. So, okay, let's move on to the next melee weapon. Alright, the next melee weapon is going to be Bloody Terror Axe. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And yeah, as you guys can see, this melee weapon is just insanely good for getting kills. It has a really high attack rate, and its damage is pretty dang high, and it usually 2-shots, especially with that cursed attribute. You mean it only 2-shots with the cursed attribute. Otherwise, you know, it just doesn't do enough damage to 2-shot. But yeah, this melee weapon is insanely good for getting kills. It has a really high hitbox, so it's very easy to hit enemies. And yeah, it's really good for getting kills. And also, it has 85 mobility, so it's really good for movement. But what makes it even better for movement is it gives you a speed boost after getting a kill. So definitely it's really good melee, honestly. I mean, maybe I should have put this as number 1 because it's kind of like your generic authentic melee, but yeah, I don't know, it's a very good melee. I know I've said that 100 times. Okay, let's move on. Alright, next up is going to be Additional Biting Limb, and this melee is extremely good. Not only does it do enough damage to 1-shot fully charge every time, but it has, I believe, the highest grapple distance for any melee weapon in the game. So you can use this for getting kills because you started with enough ammo and it one-shots. So if you're going to use this melee weapon for getting kills, I'd recommend using the energy combo because like that just protects you more and you stay alive longer. However, if you're going to use this for movement, go with either the kinetic or magic modules because having this shiv equipped actually increases the charge time, so it allows you to grapple faster. So yeah, definitely just keep that in mind. If you want kills, go energy. However, if you want movement, go kinetic or magic to decrease your charge time. Okay, let's move on. Next up is what I believe to be the best melee weapon in the game for getting kills, Fist of Fate. This melee weapon will one-shot fully charge every time if you can hit enough burst shots. It has range actually, so you don't have to get right next to someone in order to kill them. And it's only legendary. That's right, guys. This gameplay in the background is legendary. And the best part, you guys can get this weapon right now for 500 coupons. I promise you, if you use this weapon in like pool party or a knife party, you guys will definitely make people mad because this weapon is extremely annoying to go against, especially if you use the energy shield all the time. Because man, it one-shots. It can get multiple kills per shot, which is absolutely crazy. Again, the range part means like if other people are melee spamming like a knife party, you will have an advantage because you can stay far away from people and still kill them. Yeah, this weapon is just extremely overpowered for getting kills. And like I said earlier, in my opinion, is the best melee for getting kills with. Now let's move on to the #1 spot. And finally on this list is going to be Heroic Epee, and the reason why this is #1 is because I just feel like this is all around the best well-rounded melee you get. It's good for getting kills. It definitely does enough damage to get kills. Its super punch actually has area damage, so it's very easy to hit people with a super punch. It has 85 mobility, so it's pretty good for mobility as far as melee weapons go. It's legendary, so it's not going to be too expensive if it ever does come back. And it's, what's the other thing? Oh yeah, healing. It heals 12 HP per tick. Unfortunately, all of that is health. It doesn't heal any armor, which is kind of unfortunate, but still, 12 HP per tick is definitely good healing. So for that reason, you can use Heroic Epee for literally anything. So yeah, for that reason, that's why it's #1. Not only because it's just good for getting kills, but it's good for everything. So yeah, for that reason, I do recommend you guys get this if you ever can, and that is why it's #1. Okay, I need to stop talking. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to smash the like button and consider subscribing for more Pixel Gun Top 10s. I do them every week. I try to do them every Sunday, but sometimes it ends up being Monday. Yeah, because I suck. So yeah, again, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys all in the next Pixel Gun video. Peace.